Hi, everyone, and welcome to Building Hancock, Stories of Growth and Community, a podcast where we shine a light on the people, places, and projects shaping the future of Hancock County, Indiana. I'm your host, Dave Meeker, also known as the Cyber Concierge from Bringing Tech to You. Plus, I'm the founder of New Pal Open for Biz. Lifelong New Palestine resident Wayne May joins host Shawn Neal to discuss the 6-decade legacy of May Roofing, the satisfaction of hands-on craftsmanship, and the importance of keeping commerce and community spirit close to home. From hauling shingles at age 10 to solving the leaks no one else can, he did in my house, Wayne shares how a family business stays small by design while making a big impact on Main Street. Leading the conversation today is my co-host, Shawn Neal. Shawn is the CEO of Advocast, a communications and PR consultancy specializing in podcasting and media solutions. So with that, I'll step back and hand it over to Shawn. Shawn, take it away.
And thanks, Dave. So we are with Wayne May of May Roofing. You are somebody that probably a lot of people in the community have seen or know. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I want to dive right in. Let's get to know a little bit about you. How long have you been a resident here in the New Pal area?
I'm 54 years old. Went to school here, born here, lived here all my life.
There you go. So you are a lifelong resident, and you've got how many kids? Is it two?
Two. Yep. One's 27, the other one's 16.
All right. So shout out to them. Now I want to talk a little bit about this because one thing that I really love about May Roofing is the history behind it. You are a family-owned business first and foremost, and your dad started this. Can you give us a little bit of that history of, when he started this and when you got involved and took over?
He started roofing in 1963. So that was quite a long time ago, but, I can remember, really young going to work, probably 10 to 12 years old, going, in the summers, working with him and, picking up trash and, doing all the stuff. And, that's kind of all I've ever done.
What was it like for you when you were a kid and you started getting involved with dad at work? And I mean, you know how it goes. What was that like?
Love, hate, I loved it, but I hated it. It's, you go to work, you're, 12, 13 years old, going to work in the summer. It's hot, muggy out, or it's cold and rainy. I always enjoyed the work. I like, that whenever you go out there and you make something look better, it's always a sense of accomplishment,
Yeah. That's one of the things that I hear from a lot of people who are involved in architecture and landscaping. And it's like, yeah, and I look at that and I go, I can't do that. That's just not my gift. But it's really cool to know that you've went in there and you've been able to kind of bring something back to life, maybe something that wasn't. As you think through the years and doing the work that you've been doing, is there anything memorable, like a memorable project or something like that you've done that kind of stands out and you're like, that was one for the books. That was one that I think everybody else might remember as well.
There's just been a lot of little things over the years. There's been times where people would call. It's like, oh, we've had 8 different people out here. We've got a leak. We can't figure it out. Nobody can figure it out. And next thing you know, they call us and we go in to fix it and everything's good. There's just been a few jobs over the years that were pretty rough jobs. It turned out really well. But nothing really stands out. There's just been a lot of little things that have just kind of stick in your mind. Houses that may not have, you would get done, you stand back, it's like, that looks good. But, we made a big difference in that,
Yeah. Lifelong residents. Let's kind of go back to that because you've seen the evolution of New Pal. You've watched it through your life.
Yes.
And as you look at kind of, the contributions that you've made through the business, your footprint is there. Even if you don't look at it and say that was something like your footprint as a business, as a craftsman in the way that you work is out there. And I think that that's noteworthy.
Yeah. It's just, it's been gratifying, and there's a lot of people that know us or have seen it or, Dad, I think Dad's black truck, the yellow lettering on it has just kind of been a staple of New Palestine for the last 60 years. There's people that may not know us, but they know that truck.
Sure. Sure. So as you look at New Pal and some of the things that have changed over the years, what are some of the things that you personally are feeling excited about? What are some things that have changed that have kind of lit you up a little bit?
Probably some of the businesses that are coming in. There's been such a growth of houses and things, and I think there for a long time we had, a lot of housing additions going up, and everybody that was here had to go somewhere else. They had to go somewhere else to shop. They had to go somewhere else to eat dinner. Now some of that is starting to come here. So people are staying here and spending their money here, which I think is a good thing. If we're going to be building the houses and building the subdivisions, we need to build the business structure so people don't have to go to Indianapolis. They don't have to, they don't have to leave the community, so therefore they're spending money in the community and it benefits everybody in the community that way.
Yeah. A question that I love to ask of people is what do you value most about, where you live? What would you say that is for you?
The people, this is a good community. Most of the people are nice. It's just a nice, clean community. The school systems are good. Just the community itself. We have a really nice downtown area. It looks nice when you drive through. A lot of the houses right on Main Street have been redone, and it's just a neat community.
Wow, that's so cool. I love that, and I think that is, when I've talked to others, that's kind of the going theme here. It's the community, the people, and that kind of takes me and segues me into some of the events. So, we've talked to some folks out there at Main Street, New Pal Main Street, and some of the things that they have when it comes to like summertime outside events. Are there any particular events that you your family like to attend, or maybe even call the friends in and say, come on over and let's go do this?
Yeah, the music that they have, there on Main Street, that we go to several of those a year. Of course, we're busy with the kids and stuff, so we can't go to a lot of them, but we try to make them when we can, and we have a really good time when we do that. And it's good to see the downtown New Palestine having events like that.
Yeah, that's so cool, isn't it? I want to just kind of think about where you're at with the business, and as we look forward into the future, you start to look 5 years ahead and you say, this is what I would love for my business. And, what kind of things do you think about when it comes to the future for May Roofing and just kind of the future for yourself in New Pal?
Just like to stay, consistent. We're a small company. I don't want to roof every house in Hancock County. That's not, there's by far bigger companies than us. The work we do, I want people to be satisfied with. I want to do a good job. I don't have a grand scheme or anything or grand plans. We've been doing this forever. Just kind of keep doing what we've been doing and trying to do a good job for everybody, and just grow the business, and we'll keep plugging away as long as we can go.
There you go. So let's kind of talk services. I know roofing, obviously. What are some of the other things that you all do out there?
Of course, all kinds of roofing, flat roofs. We do residential, commercial work. flat roofs, rubber roofs, TPO, shingle roofs, siding of all sorts, gutters, aluminum seamless gutters. We used to do some other things, but anymore we just kind of pinpoint those 2 or 3 things, and that seems to be what we do the most of. So we just focus on that instead of trying to do everything like a lot of people. We just try to do the 3 things that we're the best at and concentrate on that.
Very good. And I think one of the things that comes to mind when you talk about the 5-year plan, it's like you really come across to me as a kind of word of mouth kind of guy when it comes to the business and growth. And people are just going to talk about the experience that they had with May Roofing, and they're going to tell their friends about it when their friends are looking for someone to do some work. What's the website address that they can go find you at when they are saying, I want to know more about May Roofing?
The website's mayroofinginc.com. Pretty simple. I think it's pretty easy to remember.
And are there any other ways that they can reach out to you?
We're on Facebook, May Roofing on Facebook. And that's about it. The website and Facebook, that's about all the advertising we do. We're Better Business Bureau, all that stuff. We're Angie's List. There's multiple ways, just Google us, and if you Google my name, you'll find me.
That's perfect. Wayne, I think that one of the things that stands out in talking to you is that you are kind of the essence. You really represent that New Pal feel, and just I think that small town community that we all know and love, and it's in your voice, it's in the work that you do, and just thank you for all of your contributions, and keep doing the good work, my friend.
Well, you're welcome, and we will try to do it as long as we can.
At New Pal Open for Biz, we're all about creating a team of local businesses to help secure and promote one of the key gateways into Hancock County, our hometown of New Palestine, Indiana. Whether it's road construction updates, business growth, or community events, we've got you covered. And if you're a business owner in the New Palestine or Hancock County area and you want to be part of what we're building, just reach out by clicking on the link found in the show notes.